What is an absolute truth that no one wants to hear? It is possible to make no mistakes and still lose. That is not failure, that is life. Captain Jean-Luc Picard. You need to have your views challenged. Being around and positively engaging with people who disagree with you is one of the healthiest intellectual practices we can do. Just because someone is related to you doesn't mean they are a good person. Edit. Thank you all for the awards. Good luck to those who have cut toxic family out of their lives. And those who are still trying to. You can't control what happens to you. Only how you react to it. Just because you love someone, it doesn't mean they will love you back. No matter how hard you try to get them to. They just won't. Edit. Wow. I've never had so many upvotes or awards. Thank you guys for sharing your stories and opinions. It's funny because some of you talked about your ex. I was with my ex for 5 whole years and she suddenly fell out of love like snap that. I didn't understand. But this post isn't about her. And I didn't even think about her when posting it. I guess that means I'm truly over her. Now I just have to deal with the woman I did post this about. Even though you think your kids are special, they are most likely just average. Your spouse, child, home, job, vacation, etc. is not nearly as important to anyone else as it is to you. We don't know everything and probably never will. No one wants to hear your shitty music in public. Especially in class. Life is easier for attractive people. No matter how nice you are. People will still just be assholes to you just cuz. Edit. Thank you so much for the awards, guys. There's going to be a day where you are totally forgotten by everyone. Everyone's a hypocrite. Even you. Costco has tubs of 7 pounds nacho cheese for sale at $6.50 a piece. 7 pounds of nacho cheese works out to about 2,800 cc. A typical bathtub has a volume of 160,000 cm3. Here are your volumes based on weights. Approximately. And how many bottles you would need to fill up the tub. 1. 120 pounds equals 50,000 cm3 means you need 40 tubs for $255. 2. 150 pounds equals 70,000 cm3 means you need 32 tubs for $208. 3. 200 pounds equals 90,000 cm3 means you need 25 tubs for $162. $5. 4. 250 pounds equals 110,000 cm3 means you need 18 tubs for $116. See the trend? The fatter you get, the more cost-effective it becomes to bathe in cheese. Edit. Thank you all for the votes and awards. I will reply when I get a chance. Thank you all so much. Glad my cheese knowledge came in handy and made so many of you laugh. At least pertaining to Reddit where US politics are concerned. We are not a good representation of the voting population in the United States. Mainstream Reddit and the Twitterverse are but a small part of actual voters, regardless of how overwhelmingly in support of a candidate we all might be. It's not a good indicator of how much support someone, like Joe Biden or Bernie Sanders, actually have. Less a fact and more my opinion now. I think Reddit tends to do their political activism on Reddit only. To where they receive overwhelming support from other Reddit users. It does nothing for their actual community or spreading a message, while still giving them the satisfaction of having made an impact. I think it's important to remember not to get complacent just because a bunch of Reddit Twitter users support your views and your candidate. We are a very small portion of a much larger population, and we tend to do too much preaching to the choir, so to speak. You are always replaceable. That you need to uplift others to improve society and the world. But everyone is more focused on crushing those around them to ensure their current, or potential, position in the world. I guess to counter some people in here. Not every real talk, tough to swallow pill, or harsh truth that you have to offer someone is going to be accurate to them or their situation. Sometimes you're actually a fucking dick that is incapable of considering their perspective or feeling empathy towards them. Underscore. Just because you've been doing something longer than other people doesn't mean you're better at it. Driving, job role, sports, etc. Edit. Spelling and grammar. There is always someone better than you. Your parents fucked. Everyone you love will die. Everyone you hate will die. Everything ends. That there are people who won't like you or agree with you and you won't be able to change their mind, so you just have to deal with it. Thanks for the award, kind sir, ma'am, NB pal. ITT. Top 100 posts from. No one is at the wheel. There is no one leading the planet, just powerful people, companies, and countries all struggling together against everyone else for power, money, and control. Han shot first. All children are innocent. But they're not all good. Some people will grow up to be fucking assholes regardless of what they're exposed to. Your friends and family likely talk tons of shit about you behind your back. There's always money in the banana stand. Having an opinion doesn't make you right. You are probably the cause of your own problems because you refuse to look within yourself and deal with it. To be explicit, some people do have a variety of problems that are imposed upon them for a variety of reasons. But that still doesn't mean responding in such a way that it exacerbates everything. Edit. I hedged what I said with probably for a reason and added the parenthetical bit. Some problems are not your fault individually. But it's still your responsibility to handle it. For example, no one asked to be in a pandemic. But here we are. And we've a responsibility to wear masks, socially distance, etc. If we don't do it for each other, then we can at least do it for ourselves. Things are going to keep getting worse on our planet and we are in for some serious human tragedy. Your dog will probably die before you. What a depressing thread. Truth hurts, I guess. You aren't special. Just because you've been with someone since high school doesn't mean they're right for you. Don't base your future on childish dreams. As long as we fail to protect and provide for all children in our society, we will continue to suffer the crimes of the damaged adults we produce. We have no right to expect any different. And we deserve everything that we get. We are not all equal. In any sense. No matter what you do, you polluted the planet. You can achieve anything you put your mind to. Is not true. Not even close. Genetics play a huge role in whether or not someone will be a good athlete. Or a super successful scientist. Can you be an okay athlete if you try really hard and practice really hard? Sure. Will you break world records or play for a professional team? No. You have to be especially gifted in the genetics department to do those sorts of things. The same thing applies for mental pursuits. Not everyone is smart. Some people just don't get it. You can try a million different ways of teaching a subject and some people just won't get it. Critical thinking, the ability to see a problem and visualize how to get a solution, comes much more easily to some people than to others. Can you sit there and memorize things and get good grades and whatnot? Absolutely. Will you ever be a scientist who does extremely important research and solves the world's next huge problem? Probably not. Unless you get hired because of nepotism or dragged along by someone who is good at critical thinking. Furthermore, much of what you can do is limited by who you know. If you're rich or your parents are rich and they know lots of people and have a large social network or a lot of people who want to please them for one reason or another, you'll likely find a job in whatever career you want to extremely easily, provided you're not totally inept. If you're the first in your family to get a degree and aren't good at maintaining a social network, you'll likely have an extremely hard time finding a job. Even if you are the person best suited for the jobs you are applying for. Even if the job you're applying for is literally what you spent 5 years getting a PhD on. If you don't know somebody, you likely won't get that job. Corona may never go away and be in our lives forever in some capacity. The eradication of the most devastating diseases that we fight today, i.e., cancer, will have potentially devastating unintended consequences. Humans weren't meant to live forever. And a cure for cancer will have interesting effects in the economy and society as a whole, with a world already overcrowded with people. Before I get killed on this, I don't mean for this to sound cruel or heartless. Having a culture that is so focused on getting high or drunk squanders much of the time in our youth that we need to develop into thoughtful, pragmatic, and mature adults. The people who bother you the most in your life probably do so because you're the most similar to them. There are a lot of violent people out there and we aren't really doing much to change that. There are a lot of people hurting each other through sexual violence. And no one is ultimately making any effort to change that, despite the fact that Reddit doesn't want to hear it. There are a lot of people who are attracted to young people. Throughout history. And today. And until we actually acknowledge that, we are never going to stop people from being abused. The best solution for gun violence in the US that everyone could agree on is targeting the causes of violence. Now there will be issues on specific methods which people will debate. But you would be 10 times more effective in getting movement in that area than by trying to fight the brick wall of gun control versus gun rights. And politicians are never going to do this unless citizens tell them to change focus. Educated people have beliefs too. Education alone is not a magic solution to issues. It's our fault the world is not the way it's supposed to be. We didn't start it. It's just the people that came before us didn't fix it. And now it's our responsibility. Expecting politicians, athletes, and celebrities to influence positive change is bullshit when so many of us don't take extra steps to contribute positively in the world.